Here's the thing. Dogs do what's rewarding, and dogs avoid doing things that are not rewarding. But that doesn't mean that they have a clear understanding of the idea that, for example, digging is not allowed in the yard.
Right.
So therefore, I am going to do it when you're not watching, but when you're watching, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, dogs don't think like that.
No. And the reason they're not doing it when you're there is because they're avoiding the aversive that comes along with this situation. Dogs are extremely situational. So if they're digging while you're there, or if they are not digging while you're there, it's because you've probably said to them when you're there, this is not acceptable, and maybe you've corrected that behavior when you're there. But here's the thing. Dogs are also opportunistic. They're scavengers. There's all sorts of traits that come along with dogs. So if it's safe in their mind to dig when you're not there, they're probably going to dig when you're not there. That's not to say they understand that it is not desirable to dig.
Right. Yes.
So, I mean, and this is, I'm sure even after explaining that, people are still going, huh? Like scratching their head, but this is the way dogs think. Like, this is not, oh, I truly understand that digging is not a desirable function in a human world. That's not how it goes. You know, it's, oh,
they don't
it's safe to dig
understand
at
that
this
these
point.
are prized roses.
Yeah.
They don't know. It's like, this is just fun to dig.
Exactly. Exactly. So here's the thing. If you give your dog the opportunity to go out in the yard and be unsupervised and develop bad habits like digging and chewing up things, etc., that is going to drive their behavior, and that is going to be the thing that they need to do. So there's a couple of schools of thought here from me. One is, if you can avoid the dog learning to do that in the first place, you're going to save yourself a whole lot of time and effort, which it sounds like a lot of work to be out there with your dog, but you know what? It's all part of the training process. Right. So if for the first, 6 to 8 months of my dog's life, I'm supervising them when they're in the yard, maybe I'm just watching through the kitchen window once they start to get more mature, but I'm still watching so that as soon as I see my dog starting to dig, I can, bang on the glass to get his attention. Maybe I throw open the patio door at that point and say, hey, don't you dig in that yard. And then move on from there, sort of thing.
And you want to
supervising.
Catch them just as they're starting.
Yes.
If they've already been digging for 10 minutes and are, halfway through the yard, you've missed your opportunity.
Yeah.
Or if you've gone to bring them in and there's a hole in the yard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Done deal.
It's over and done with. You missed your opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. And what's really important in this supervision and like heavy duty feedback for the dog for the first 6 to 8 months is then you create a situation where your dog goes, okay, right, I know digging is off limits. I've not gotten value in my life for digging. I've gotten scolded for digging. So therefore digging is not rewarding for me anymore. Not going to dig, right? So that's sort of a simplification of getting in front of the problem. Now, the other school of thought is if you have a problem already, which of course, if you have a problem already, now you're definitely going to need to make some changes in order to fix this problem. Right. So to teach these dogs to stop digging in your yard, they can no longer have any unsupervised time out in the yard.
Because it's a very addictive habit.
It is. And that's exactly it. It's a habit. We have created a habit in the dog that the dog goes outside and self-satisfies by digging.
Right.
So now what I need to do is remember, first of all, that it takes an average of 6 weeks to break a habit. So I need to put an X on the calendar 6 weeks from today, where this is the time where now I'm going to start testing whether or not my lessons on not digging have gotten through to the dog. So I'm going to put that X on the calendar, and I'm going to make sure that I stick to supervising, stopping immediately, redirecting behavior, etc. Anytime my dog starts digging, which means I have to be there.
Right.
If I'm not there, that habit will continue to get perpetuated. And it's like putting money in the bank, right? It's building the behavior back up again. So I need to be there for those 6 weeks. I need to watch. I need to make sure I'm stopping it in its tracks every time. I need to redirect the behavior. I need to deal with it.
Right. Yeah.
And then after 6 weeks, now maybe I'm going to remove myself from the picture. I'm going to send my dog out in the yard, but I'm still watching. Is he going to make good choices? Right. Maybe I give him something to occupy himself. I don't like putting in dig boxes. Lots of people do this. I'm not a fan of it. Dogs don't need to dig.
No.
We can give them outlets if we want to, or we can actually fix the behavior and make sure that they understand it's not an acceptable thing to dig up my yard, you know? And I would say even if I do give my dog a dig box to fulfill that need, I'm still going to have to work through making sure he understands that digging in the rest of the yard is not acceptable. So, yeah. Little bit of work, for sure.
No quick fix for digging. It requires effort on our part.
Absolutely. And the quickest fix truly is if you can stop it before it starts, right? You see that first little sign that your puppy is digging, addressing it at that point because you're there and you're supervising and you can is going to save you a whole lot of frustration.